Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are sending this to the moon just to complete a contract. It's a really quick thing. This is going to be a burn time of 1:20 seconds, so we want to burn this at T-minus 40 seconds. Let me just warp towards that a little bit. So right about now. And then we're going to ditch our booster stage. And we're in our maneuvering stage now. Excellent. And with this, we are much better prepared. We have a decoupler here, right? Yeah, we do. Okay. We are much better prepared to be able to turn this thing in a timely fashion. Okay, so let's just keep an eye on our orbit here. Our orbit is increasing, and we're targeting this as our orbit. We're coming in the opposite direction that we normally would, because we are looking for this directionality in the orbit, and I don't feel like changing the orbit, even though we're going to have plenty of delta V to invert the orbit. That's not a concern. We have so much delta V for this, it is not even funny. 100 more meters per second in this burn. Make that 50. Okay. I cut it because I want to do this a little bit more accurately at this point. Directionality is correct. That's an orbit. And I want to go, I think, a little further. Yep. That'll do. Perfect. So at this location, we will then go ahead and add a maneuver. This is going to be retrograde. We're just circularizing for now. We'll bring this down to roughly where we need to be. If we do it a little earlier, we can maybe save some delta V. Where do we want to do this? Right about there. Maybe a little further out. I don't know. That might be considered close enough for the game. That probably is close enough. Is that a slight inclination difference? It is. We may have to adjust that. I think I want to bring it in retrograde a little bit more. About like that. And then place the apoapsis more like... That's weird. Okay. I don't know why it started doing that. I'm going to redo this. This is a retrograde burn. Not that retrograde. More like this. And we're just going to encapsulate the orbit. I don't think we're going to try anything super fancy. That'll be fine. Perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and warp to that maneuver after we head to the maneuver node. And we are definitely turning faster. There's no doubt about that. Still not fast, per se. But as soon as we're in position here, I'm going to warp to this maneuver. Which we are almost there. Come on, you can do it. There we go, we're almost there, and now. Off we go. And then we'll just do 2 corrective burns, rather than the 1 corrective burn that I was trying to get before. This will probably be just as fast, though. And then after this, I think the plan is to get that fuel module on. Okay, this is going to be a 29-second burn, so at 14.5 seconds is when we want to do this. So right about now. And we're halfway done. We now have an actual orbit. Fantastic. That is close enough. Okay, we are off by 1 degree. We may need to change our inclination, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'll just pop that open. And no, I don't want to warp here. Stop that. I want to click on our orbit. I want to change our inclination, not that way, but rather... That's weird. Why is it not updating the info there? Well, we'll just see if this is close enough. We're going the correct direction, right? Yeah, we are. Okay. Well, at this apoapsis over here, this one, I'm going to do a retrograde burn. We're going to pull the periapsis to where it needs to be. And I'm just going to adjust when we do the burn a little bit. Okay. That should be plenty good. We'll go ahead and warp to that maneuver. It's only a 4.5 meter per second burn, so we're not going to be changing much at all. Of course, at this height, we can't warp very quickly, so that's a thing. Okay, 1 minute. I'm going to physics warp this so that we get our turn in. There we go. And this is just going to be a very minute burn, which I'm going to do at around, you know, now-ish. Just very, very minor. Should be good enough. And we'll just go ahead and add in a retrograde burn at this new periapsis. Down to there, which should be good enough. I think our inclination is good enough as well. So let's go ahead and warp to that maneuver then. We can, while I'm trying to click on the orbit, we can start turning over there. Okay. Here we are. Once again, I'm going to physics warp our turn as we're waiting for the node to approach. This is only 3.6 meters per second, so again, I'm going to do this at about T-minus 3 seconds and just keep the thrust really low. Good enough? Good enough. Now we maintain stability. We should get the contract momentarily. We don't have a gravioli detector. You'd think I would have learned to read the contract by now. Oh boy. Okay. Let's have some fun, shall we? We need to crash things into the moon anyway, right? Where is our experiment control station? Over here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add a maneuver over this way. We're going to crash this thing into the moon near our location. I'm going to go ahead and warp here. And we're going to see how close that gets. And then we're going to have to launch this thing again after we crash this in, because I just didn't put a gravioli detector on it. Entirely my own fault. It's not moving very much, so I'm going to go ahead and do this and warp a little bit closer. We'll go into maneuver mode. Actually, we can just sit at surface retrograde. It kind of doesn't matter. And then once we kill our horizontal speed, because we're going to be basically at the horizon here. So once we kill our horizontal speed, I'm going to be at the maneuver node. This is probably close enough to be read by the seismic detector. Should be, anyway. It's going to be a little on the dark side, unfortunately, but it's fine. We don't need to see. So I'm just sitting here. We're going to crash this thing into the moon. And we're going to have to bring a different one, a different probe in. Okay, this should be perfectly fine. Right about here. Okay, and let's go ahead and warp to... No, get rid of that maneuver. Let's warp to here. So we're just going to warp forward about 10 minutes. And then we are going to burn prograde directly towards the surface. If this doesn't get us some seismic data, I don't know what will. We've got a lot of DV that we can burn, but we're not going to get it all burned before we impact. There's no doubt about that. Here we come. We're burning directly at the surface right now. Pure prograde. In fact, we could, if we so desired, just burn straight down. Like so. And we're a few minutes from the surface right now, so we're going to be able to burn through this tank for sure. And I don't know if we're going to be able to burn through these tanks, but maybe. But for now, here we come. Gonna crash into the moon. And then I'm gonna put a gravioli detector on this thing. How long do we have left in this burn? 27 seconds. Okay. Radar altitude, we are 90 kilometers away. We will get there currently in just a couple minutes. We're at 1 kilometer per second right now. Three, 2, 1, stage. And there's no way we burn out a 100-second burn with only 60 kilometers left. We're already moving at 1.5 kilometers per second, and yeah, this is going to explode a bit. Virgil survived somehow over there. Good job, Virgil. And of course, our science is over here. And this should get us science data from the surface of the moon completed, actually. That should be a thing. So we're actually going to get a contract done out of this through some miracle. Okay, here we go. We're going to impact. It's going to go kaboom. Kaboom. Oh, wonderful. We just got 200 science points transmitted back. Wow, that was not a catastrophic failure, actually. Science data from surface of the moon completed. And we got our deployed seismic sensor science. That is incredible. Okay. That was actually a magnificent success. Somehow, through some miracle, that complete and utter failure became a complete and utter success. I don't know how, but I'll take it. Okay, so what do we want to spend that science on? Nuclear propulsion? Actually, That might be a great thing to grab. I'm going to grab that. And now, while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to attach a negative gravioli detector, because this is the final episode in my recording session here, and I don't want to forget to put one of these on before we go again. There we go. Okay, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're actually putting this thing in orbit over the moon and not crashing it into the moon, even though that was entirely intentional. We're actually putting it in orbit. And after that, I think the plan is to send the fuel module to Minmus, and then we can begin the research and development on our quasi-spaceplane. Should be exciting. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you all next time.